Irvine, California, I'm coming to you January 10th. Dallas, Texas, I'm coming to you March 22 and 23rd. Please get tickets at fumiabe.com. Would love to see you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Cash Cuties, a super personal finance podcast where we look at our friends' credit card statements and judge their spending habits with love. I'm your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm your darling, Steffie Baik.
Darling.
If you're listening on your Apple Pod app, please leave us a review, hit follow on Spotify, and sub to our YouTube channel for the video version of this podcast. All the links are available in the episode description below.
Quick shout out to our Dono Daddies. These are people who give us money on Patreon. What is Patreon? It is the best way to support this podcast. So if you want to support this operation, if you want bonus content, if you want to shout out on the podcast, please go to patreon.com/cashcutiespod and you'll get all those things. We have 2 Dono Daddies this week.
Yeah.
Shout out to Philip J, $5. Thank you so much.
And Jacob S, $5. Ow, ow, ow.
Thank you so much. Again, that's patreon.com/cashcutiespod. This is the last episode of 2023. Steph skis.
I don't want it to end. Can we slow down time somehow?
Oof, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tall order.
That's a tall order.
From someone like me.
Yeah, because we have so many interesting things happening in 2024.
I know. Well, we are recording before New Year's and Christmas right now, and I don't want to get into this too much, but I was on my way here listening to a podcast, and they're talking about like most memorable Christmas gifts and stuff like that, and I wondered if there's something that comes to mind when you think of Christmas. Like, is this a big holiday for you because gifts is like a love language for you? Like, is Christmas like?
You know what I think
day?
of?
Yeah.
I think of panettone. Do you know what that is?
There's no way. I don't know what that is. That sounds like a bakery that I can't afford.
Okay, let me teach you about culture, okay? Panettone is like an Italian bread. It's almost like a fruit bread. Have you seen those? They're like dry as hell and they taste kind of like alcoholic fruit.
Oh, what is that? That's not what it's called in English. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what the English name is.
Yeah.
I just know that in Brazil, we grew up eating that.
Yes.
So the first thing I think of is that goddamn bread that doesn't taste that good, but you get used to it. And so it becomes the flavor of Christmas. So that's the first thing I think of.
Okay. Do you remember you're obviously 19 years old, but do you remember growing up, like what was your favorite Christmas gift? Something that you were like, oh, I still think about that moment because that gift meant so much to me.
Dang, a Christmas gift.
I'm only asking because I feel like gifts is like a huge thing for you. Like I thought
it was not. But I don't remember it as a child exactly. I'm trying not to think of my childhood. I'm trying to.
There's a single tear running down Steffie's cheek right now. I have
like,
brought up some trauma.
Holidays?
Oh my god.
What? Okay, Santa. I'm trying to think of. Okay, so. Probably when we got our little kitties. I remember we got these 2 crazy, we adopted these 2 kitties. I think the cats had like mental health issues. Do you ever tell that?
This is your Christmas gift that you hold so highly in your memory?
No, that's what I remember. Oh my God. Yeah, I can't think of the good one. Are you trying to ask me a good one?
Just anything.
This is my memory of the cats, and they kept scratching me. And so we kept them in a room, which was horrible to do. They were scratching me and my younger sister. So anytime we would touch them, we were frightened because we'd be like, there would be blood running upon us, like just because of how crazy they were. And so we had to give them away because we just couldn't deal with them. But that's my Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. Jesus Christ,
it's
man.
Blood. It is screaming.
God damn. No, I bring it up because I was just thinking about how I've been feeling this way for quite some time. I think it's because ever since I got a job, this might not be relatable to you, but Cash Cuties, I wonder if this is relatable to you as an adult. I feel like I don't want anything anymore. Like, I think I have everything I need.
I hate you right now. Dude, you're being so...
I'm not being pretentious.
You're absolutely pretentious.
When my parents are like, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for your birthday? I never have an answer because as an adult, I could just buy that thing, you know? And it goes beyond Christmas. I remember back in the day, my parents would go back to Japan. They're like, do you want anything from Japan? I'd be like, oh yes, can you get me this like contact solution that's like minty, that's fun, or like get me this thing that's popular over there. But now it's like I can get everything on Amazon, whatever the fuck I want with my own money.
You're telling me that if your father got you minty eye drops from Japan and he brought it here versus if you order on Amazon, it's completely the same feeling.
It is though. It is. For me, it is. Because it's like, for me, it's like, oh, I could have just, you know what I mean? Like, You don't have to. I mean, it's nice, but I don't necessarily feel that there's like less emotions attached with gifting now, I think, as an adult, because you can just sort of buy things.
Why
right?
do I feel sad for you?
I know it is sad. I want
Is
to.
it
I want
Maybe
to
it's
want.
not.
My desire is desire. I want to want again. I was thinking about the best gift I ever gotten was when I was like in 4th grade or 5th grade. I was already living in Ohio. My uncle mailed me a Nintendo 64 from Japan.
Yeah.
And you can get one here, but back then you could only play Japanese games on Japanese Nintendo 64s.
Yeah.
So he mailed me one from Japan. And I remember like my mom telling me like shipping it probably cost more than the actual system. But I have a picture of me and my sister like freaking out that they sent us that. And I was so happy. And I can't remember the last time I felt like that unraveling a gift.
Holy shit.
I know. Is this relatable at all?
There was a time when there was a time I felt what you're talking about, but it was a lie to myself.
It's not a monetary thing, I guess.
It's not for me. It's not monetary. It's like the act of
act.
someone had thought of me,
Yes.
and getting it and then delivering it like whatever how many miles it is. Like
Yeah.
that feeling of like, wow, you thought of me
Yeah.
when you were on
So
an
far away.
island, when you were like eating your Tokyo hamburg,
Yeah.
like you thought of me
Yeah.
and brought me back this little sauce.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I get that.
It's like,
I get that.
I could get Kewpie mayo here,
Right.
the giant size.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh my God, Steffi want this mini one that's a
Yeah,
keychain
yeah,
out of
yeah.
like this weird dispensary thing, right? Like
Yeah.
those little things.
Yes.
That's where I get connected to the thing.
That's
But it's
just-
not necessarily the object.
Sure.
But also, can I say, this is horrible of me.
Say it.
But when someone
Say
brings
it.
a shitty gift to you, I'd rather not have gotten a gift.
Define a shitty gift. Like a keychain?
You know, a globe.
Yeah. Like a globe that's in like a white man's
airport.
library?
You know what? Airport. I know exactly when it's like a Hudson News gift.
Who is buying you Hudson News gifts?
People buy me Hudson. I've done it too. I'm being hypocritical. Okay, last minute when you're supposed to get someone a gift and you forget, and you're like ramble. You know, you have like, what are you gonna do? You go to the Hudson News and you fucking buy like a I love
LA mug.
fucking shirt. Yeah, and they're
Seas chocolate.
they're like,
from
bro,
what?
I live in LA. Why do I have an
Yeah.
And that kind of like
Well, but I know why it's shitty for you because the thought process wasn't
Exactly.
there. I was a last minute thought, and that's not hot.
Completely. So I think I'd rather get, even if you brought me back like, I don't even drink, but you brought me back a tequila because you were on a tequila farm.
Yeah.
But they thought of me.
Right.
Why
See,
they thought of me, I don't know.
This is really important because I feel like I have trouble accepting love from people. And that translates to the gift thing. Like you said, you're like, oh, you wouldn't be happy if your dad got you this like contact solution that's even 300 yen from Japan. And I'm like, yeah, I get it from Amazon. But it's because I have issues receiving and giving love.
Yeah, you're avoiding it.
I'm
going to
avoiding.
make anyone that wants to hook up with him from now on, please say I love you.
No.
Scream I love you the whole time you hook
No.
up with Fumi.
No.
Because maybe
I'll
then
murder
it'll...
you.
No, then it's like the maybe you'll just get used to it.
I'll get soft if you do
Or
that.
you'll just never have sex again.
Yeah, I will go celibate, which honestly would be fun and good for me, I think.
You think so?
Well, I think I'm too horny
It's one
sometimes.
of your joys.
It's one of my love languages. Get my dick sucked.
That's
Anyways, Merry Christmas to y'all. Merry Christmas to y'all. Let's move on to our next topic. We keep bringing up cars, and I know some of the people on here, not the stereotype, maybe a lot of women on here, like, stop talking about cars. I don't know what's going on with this. I thought this was a money podcast.
girls also have car issues, dude.
That's true. I guess I'm being problematic.
You're being
But it's the end of the year, forgive me. It's
Okay.
cold, When it's
what
cold,
does the end of the year do?
when it's cold,
Fuck up your brain?
When it's cold, I get problematic. You know what I'm saying? That's why I had to leave New York.
Really?
I was so racist over there because it's so cold.
What race are you racist against?
Chinese people. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Oh
I just
my
made that up.
God.
Love the
Right.
Chinese. Love you guys.
I'm stepping away from this.
Well, so Steffi, you got your car towed. You're thinking about getting a new one. People are criticizing you because you want a Miata. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, people are such haters.
When I was editing Vivian's podcast, you were like, I think I'm getting a Miata. And I remember she said verbatim, can you not be a stereotype of our own people? That's what she said. And I was like, bitch. I would have called her out if I was there.
I didn't feel like what she's just saying because it's an Asian car, or do only Asians have Miatas? I've only seen.
I think she's saying that it's giving Fast and Furious.
But no, that's a S2000, which is similar looking.
I think Fast and Furious is more like Nissan Skyline or like Toyota GR86. Like I think Miata is like Miata is giving like hot substitute teacher.
What the fuck?
You know what I mean? Because it's affordable. There's fucking hair in my mouth. What the fuck is? Did you shove this in someone's asshole? Why is there? Jesus Christ! I know you're dating a white guy, but Jesus Christ. Okay.
I'm not dating anyone. Or you don't put fake information out there. I haven't dated someone in like
fake news.
Fucking
fake news.
Dude, I'm drying up here.
Anyways.
Stop. You're making me mad right now. Just by that.
Okay, but we're thinking about thinking about buying a new car, and we had talked about briefly you were complaining about Ubering everywhere. You're Ubering everywhere right now.
Dude, they're not covering it. Jeep is not covering that. So
why would you expect Jeep to cover it?
Because my car's fucked up and my warranty ended I already talked about this so many times. I feel it has taken so much time out of my life and inconvenience because my sister is here also in town and I can't drive them around because we don't have a 4-seater car.
Right.
So it's like I have to pay the Ubers to get to our hometown, which is like an
from
hour
here to
away.
Torrance.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
yeah,
dude. That's
to
like
an hour.
$60-$70.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an hour away. It cost me $80 the other day to go home. And I want my sister here and she's supposed to come here. That's another fucking $80, dude.
You would Uber her here?
I told her I would help her with half. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I just I'm like my sister, when you're an older sibling, I think you become, or whoever makes the money is literally like the sugar daddy in the relationship.
But how's that Ubering going for you? Because I didn't have a car in LA for a while, and I wanted to ask you about like how are you adjusting to this Uber lifestyle? Like what's pissing you off? There's a lot of pain points. It's
pissing me off that I'm living like I'm someone wealthy or rich when I have no money to be spending like that. It's the holidays. I need to buy people presents. I need to like buy expensive dinners for people, my friends, my family. I want to be spending it on other stuff.
Right.
And instead, I'm stuck in this fucking luxury car that I don't want to be. I don't like experiencing.
Why are you taking Uber Black?
No, sometimes nice cars come.
Oh, just come?
Like a Tesla comes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't deserve this shit. I should be feeling bad about this. And I'm spending fucking, God knows, $80 to $100 for fucking rides. So I'm pissed right now.
So the conversation that I want to talk about is like, I know Ubering hurts every time because you feel like you're living like a celebrity, as you mentioned. But I'd like to challenge you on that and see, are you really spending more money leasing/owning a car, or is it cheaper to Uber? And if so, how long? So I guess your math, how much are you really spending on this whole Jeep thing?
To pay for my gas per month, it's an average of $195.
A month?
A month.
Okay.
The insurance, I guessed, is around $200.
Okay.
AAA, it's a yearly fee. When I break it down, it's like $7 to $10. Let's say it's $10.
Okay.
The lease is $430 that's with me paying, I think I put $5,000 down on the car. So without putting the down payment and putting that math into the lease, which I should do, it comes out to $835
a month.
Huh?
$835 a month.
Yeah, $835 per month.
To have this Jeep.
Okay.
And let me ask you, how much did you spend on Ubers in the last 7 days?
That was about $470.
You spent $470 on Ubers in 7 days.
Yes.
So if we did 7 times 4, so that's 400 times. So you would spend, or do you think this is a number?
This is a crazy number because I'm with my sister.
Okay.
Or like I would go back and that was like 90, 80, whatever.
I think it's fair to assume that you would probably spend about $1,000 a month on Ubers if you didn't have a car living your regular life.
I think it's more because I literally model, so sometimes I have to go to castings. That's near where you live. And so that costs, what I averaged out is that one round trip is about $50 without tip.
Sure.
Typically me getting around LA.
Yeah.
So if I and I could do that like at least 4 times.
So you feel doing this math, a car is worth it for you because
and there is something about the freedom of being a car owner in Los Angeles.
Of course, you can go anywhere anytime.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's the meaning of America. You know what I'm saying?
It really is freedom. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. I think it's a little hard to calculate this with leases, but since you're planning on buying your next car, I wanted to show you my numbers just to see if I can maybe change your mind. I don't really need to, but just to offer you
What are
a
you trying to change
perspective.
my mind
I
about?
don't need to change your mind, but I just want to put things into perspective because I know it hurts to have an Uber, but I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. So from September 21st, when I first moved here, to January 22nd, January 2022, that's about 5 months. I didn't have a car in LA, and I spent about $4,100 on rideshare apps, $36 on trains, and then $374 on scooters. I was like bird scootering everywhere in West Hollywood to go like grocery shopping and stuff. Like if it's like 2 miles, I would just scooter because it was faster. So that's a total of $4,500, $4,512 divided by 5. I was spending about $900 on commuting per month, and that includes like me going to shows and stuff pretty much every night, going to Silver Lake, Venice, back to West Hollywood. So it is a lot, right? And then I bought a Honda Fit off Facebook Marketplace. After taxes, it was about $12,000. Gas, I fill up twice a month. It was about $85 at the time because gas prices are crazy. Insurance, I'm paying about $180 a month. And just to make up, and again, I bought a car, so this is why the calculator is a little bit different than what you calculated. But just to make up for the cost of the car, which is $12,000, if I'm spending about $900 on Ubers a month, I could ride Ubers for 13 months. Just to cover the cost of the car. But that 13 months, I'm not even including oil changes, accidents, maintenance, and stuff like that, right? And also in that 13 months, I'm paying gas for 13 months. I'm paying insurance for 13 months, which is, that totals up to about $3,400, which is another 4 months of Uber. So yes, it is $900, $1,000 a month on Uber sounds expensive, but with the car that I bought, we're talking close to 2 years on Uber. So it's like if I was only living here for 2 years, it's actually not that bad to just Uber everywhere, even though it's expensive.
I started zoning out when you started talking the I'm so sorry. Like I could not pay attention to all the numbers you were saying.
The point I'm making is because at one point you're like, I might move out of LA, right? So I guess what I'm saying
yes,
is,
I want to go travel next year.
So what I'm saying is especially if you're doing that, because the Mazda is $30K, what I'm saying to you,
you're right.
What I'm saying to you is, I know it hurts to Uber, but I think it's actually cheaper for you to just Uber everywhere, anytime you want for 2 years. I actually think it's cheaper for you to do that than buy a Mazda. That's the point I'm making.
There is a freedom to the car that I can't explain.
But if you just get over that and just go, I'll literally Uber anytime I want to, and I promise I won't make myself feel bad about it. Financially, it might be cheaper than doing the Mazda.
Okay, you're right. It is the idea that every time I get an Uber, it's the coin. I think of money.
Yes, it's a pain point. Yeah.
It's always the idea of money is in my head. Maybe I'll start maybe I stop thinking about it after like a month, right?
This is a genius thing you're bringing up, because Uber should have a program for those who don't want to look at the numbers, and they just keep a tab, and then they charge you once a year, right? So let's say at the end of the year it costs you $20,000, but you can say to your head, well, I didn't buy a car, and if I bought a car, it would have been $30,000, so this is fine. Right? Like, I feel if they just charge you once or like a yearly fee or something, there's less of you think about the money list. That's why like Spotify, yes, it's $15 a month or whatever, but it's once a month. I don't really think about it. But if they showed me how much I'm paying every time I listen to a song, I'm gonna unsubscribe because I'm annoyed at seeing the numbers. And with Ubers, to your point, if you go back to T-Town and back, I don't care how rich you are. If you see that you spent $160 on Ubers that day, that's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if I'm showing you the numbers being like, it's okay because I did the math, you're like, I don't care about the math. It hurts.
Yeah.
So they should have a program like that. Uber, what are y'all doing?
Get on it. We'll sponsor it.
But yeah, I mean, especially if you're going to travel, it's just something you should think about. You know, I'm not trying to convince you anyway, but I did the math for you. You weren't listening, but I did the math for you.
No, I believe you. I might have to come back to you when I don't have a car and be like, hey, remind me again that why I don't have a car. I'm like, why I'm so lonely. I have no friends because I feel so bad.
You're saving money. It's fine. Like, okay, thanks. And then you walk into the ocean.
I will probably.
I mean, we're not putting into the cost of mental health here. That's another thing, right? Like, if you do feel lonely, you are saving money, but if you do feel lonely, and you do get a lot of enjoyment from driving cool cars. So I'm not putting that into the math,
one of my joys is driving Like the reason I would get a Mazda is or Miata is because it feel like I'm driving a fast car, like a sports car.
It is a fast car, I think.
It is interesting that you buy these like cheaper cars like for 11,000. That's it. And what was your other car? 4,000? No,
well,
how much
it was 14 plus tax, but I sold my Honda, so that's why it's only $11,000.
Should I just get a cheaper car? Oh,
well,
God.
I don't want. Here's the thing, and here's what we do at Cash Cuties: we don't shame people. Okay, I want to support you emotionally, and I don't think that you would be happy with a Prius. The reason why I got a really cheap car in the beginning is because I didn't know how long I would be in LA, and so I didn't want to buy a nice car because I was like, I could just move next year. So that's the only reason why I bought the Honda for like close to $10,000. But you live here, you have your family here, so I think if you bought a car, you would use it a lot, and so I think that's fine. It's just that if you plan on moving or you don't know where you're gonna be in a couple of years. I know it hurts, but the point I'm making is like, especially because your car is 3 times the cost of my car. So I really do think if I did the math, it might be like 24 to 36 months of Ubering. And that's 2 to 3 years, which is a lot of fucking time.
I don't know anyone. I do know. I have friends who don't have cars, but they're typically not from LA.
Mm-hmm.
They're like transplants.
Yeah.
And I can't help but like, I feel bad because I did judge them. I was like, you're carless? That's insane. Like, that's an insane thought to me.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm that person. It's because I talk about. That's what it happens when you judge other people. You become
You're the guy. That's actually why your Jeep broke down.
That's
you're
why
talking
it broke
shit.
down. And
mm-hmm.
you know what? It's even worse when it's dreary. It's been raining, and without a car, it's a lack of. I don't know what it is.
And you don't drink either. I was gonna say like there is something so nice about like. If you're out partying or whatever and it's late and you're sleepy, it is nice to just call an Uber and you can sleep in the car. I guess you don't sleep in the car because you're.
No,
I'm
fucking scared someone's gonna abuse me.
I know.
Remember?
I always sleep in the car, bro.
Dude, I fell asleep last night, but I get scared of that. The fucking dudes. I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
That's why I can't just fall asleep. That happened to one of our.
I know. Hannah.
Hannah.
Yep.
Like that's
she
why
got
we can't.
Assaulted on an Uber. Yeah.
I can't.
Changed her fucking life. You have to go to rehab.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
It ain't it, fam. But I appreciate you doing that.
Well, it's the end of the year, so Steffi and I thought it would be fun to just look at each other's finances and how we did this year. And first of all, before we start, shout out to Monarch. Okay, I know you guys wanted to work with us in the beginning, and we thought you were weird, and so we were kind of hot girling you. But now we love your product, and we'd love to work with you. If you want to run an ad or something, hit us up, Diane.
Yeah.
If you're Rio, even. But yeah, we looked at our year and just see how we did, and talk about best months. Just. We did this. I remember this was the first 2 episodes of the podcast. The first episode I did you, and then the second episode you did me.
Yeah.
I think, and we haven't done that in a while.
It was much more analyzed. It was like,
yeah, today's just more of like a summary, but
yeah.
Well, I'm looking at my numbers, and if you're a real fan and you listen to this at the beginning of 2023, my goal, because I don't have like a full-time writing job or whatever it was. My goal was to make $5,000 a month doing comedy, which would equate to about $60,000 a year. That was my goal. And I know it's not a lot of money, but in my head, I was thinking, that's more than what I made at my first job doing something I hated. And so if I could make $60K doing something I kind of like, that's to me is winning, right?
I love that.
But I ended up doing okay. I made like, where did that number go? I think I made like, I made like 84,000, 84.6K this year. That's gross. That's not expenses. I had a lot of expenses, so I did not save a lot. But that's exceeding the goal.
That's
so
awesome.
Overall, that's fun.
That gives hope to hopefully that gives hope to the people out there that you can make a lot of money doing something you enjoy.
And I did not have a full-time gig at all. Obviously, I did a bunch of like random comedy gigs. I made a lot of things happen on my own. I produced my own shows. I put together my own tour. So that was like a huge part of it. And looking at the income breakdown, it's interesting because I really thought most of it would be residuals, but most of it came from stand-up. Whether it's producing shows in LA or going to Chicago, whatever it was. And so it is cool to be like, I mean, I made close to $35,000 just with stand-up. That's more than like a teacher. You know what I mean? Like, and just doing stand-up. And again, this is gross, not net, but still,
That's awesome. So most of it came from comedy.
It came from stand-up.
From stand-up.
Live stand-up. Yeah.
Isn't that the goal? That's your whole life goal?
I mean, that's obviously as I get more followers and stuff, I want that to be like higher. I gotta give a shout out to the WGA, shout out to residuals. Okay, that was like a huge portion of my
so you still had residuals coming in.
Yeah, I had like 20K of residuals this year, which is like, that's a lot. That's a lot. That helped me out a lot. And that's just money coming in the mailbox. I'm not doing anything. That's just money coming in because they're replaying episodes I wrote on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's hella awesome.
Another shit was like, like content income. So that's like getting paid from Facebook and shit like that. And then I had like a handful of mini writing gigs that lasted 2-3 weeks or whatever that, that was like, 10-15K or whatever it was. So yeah.
Dude, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
So do you have a bigger goal for next year?
I guess a hundo.
Oh.
6 figures?
I know you could do that because you already have something interesting that we can't say it yet.
We can't say it, yeah.
But that's going to already jumpstart for you.
A little bit.
But I also think the exposure to that. So for as a comedian, what is the exposure that will help you the most in terms of, is it like numbers? Is it like getting more followers, or is it like that will monetarily
Yeah. So I think this might be like sound not believable to a lot of people, and I know there's a lot of money in social media and stuff, but truly where the money is live performances. Mm-hmm. That's how you make the most money. If I go to Chicago and I can sell 1,000 tickets, I will make more money than a stupid Facebook content thing that I'm doing with Sephora or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like that's live.
Sephora.
Live is where the money is at. I don't know if I talked to you about this, but like I opened for somebody at the Irvine Improv, which is like, UCI,
Yeah.
Irvine Improv
Zot.
is a mall, and there's a comedy club there called the Improv. It seats about 450 people. This man I opened for, he sold out 6 shows. So that's 450 people times 6. I don't know what that is. Tickets are going for about 25 to 30, maybe even more a ticket. His door deal, I think, was like 80%, if not more. That man walked out making like $50,000-$60,000, if not more,
for one
fucking
show?
weekend, and he's doing it everywhere.
So you have to be at that level. Is that a level that you're close to?
Not even close.
Like 10% of that?
I'm probably no.
Have they been in the industry longer?
No, he just kind of blew up on Facebook and.
So you have to blow up. You have to go viral.
You have to do whatever it takes to get fans. It can be social media, or you could be on Abbott Elementary. Like whatever you gotta do to get. It could be a podcast, right? It doesn't like numbers don't always mean that those people are gonna come out, right? Like I think there are a lot of stand-up comedians with not that many followers, but a lot of them come out to see you live, so those numbers mean more. You could have 1 million followers, but if they're just like, oh, I just like watching this girl like put on makeup, I don't want to go see her do comedy, that means nothing. There's no money in that, right? Like maybe you could do a thing with Sephora and make a couple $1,000s, but for me, I gotta get you to come out to see me. That's where the money's at, and that's what I'm realizing looking at my finances. I always thought I was writing, which it kind of is, but this 84K that I made, I had to fucking go hunt for that this year. Like I literally had to go to different cities, be like, I'm producing a show. Nobody was helping me. It was just me emailing venues because I'm not big enough for like my agents to like give me a bunch of cities, right? Like I'm just doing this on my own.
What was your best city what city did you make the most money in? Outside of LA?
Probably.
Well, New York makes sense because you have that
Chicago. They had the best door deal. But New York.
What do you mean door deal? Like a percentage that they give you?
Yeah, so when you talk to a venue, you negotiate. Like they'll be like, can you do 60% of the doors? And I'm like, no, I want to do 70. I want to do 80. So you sort of negotiate. And depending on the venue, they have like really strict door deals.
Interesting.
A good door deal is like 80% or higher.
Wow.
A bad one is like 60 or 50. That's bad. That means they're getting half.
So when you're starting in comedy, it's 50.
If you don't have leverage, it's 50.
What do you mean leverage?
If they know that you can't really bring anybody, then it's 50. Or they'll be like, so for example, when I did Rhode Island, I could only bring 30 people, right? As opposed to New York and other places, I can bring like 150 people. So in Rhode Island, I didn't even do a door deal because that's not going to make the club any money. So I took a minimum. So that means they give me $500 just to do one show.
It's surprising how much math goes along being a comedian. Like how much like financial things you have to think about
because
you have
everybody's trying to fuck you. Everybody wants a cut, right? Your manager wants a cut, and the venue is trying to fuck you a little bit sometimes.
You have to pay your manager?
Not the stuff I book on my own. Right now I'm doing like 95% of it on my own. So
you don't have to. The only person you're paying is the booking, the location, and then
but I'm not really paying them. They're just taking a cut of the ticket sales or whatever.
Right. When do you get paid? Do they give it to you that day?
They give you that night, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Or if it's Eventbrite, it'll take like a couple.
Is it cash? Is it Venmo? How are they paying you guys?
They prefer Venmo, but I've gotten cash before.
Really?
Cash is weird. In New York, they always give you cash. Well, at this one venue that I use. Yeah, but usually it's like Venmo or a check or something like that, Yeah.
Interesting.
But
well, I think you're definitely going to make 100 next year, I
hope so. Yeah.
You will. If you break that 100, how are you going to celebrate? I feel like you should like do something. You should go on a vacation again.
I mean,
you did some big things. I feel like this year you went on vacations that you might have not gone in the past. You went on a lot of vacations this year. I felt like
I went to Japan. Where else did I go? See, but
Hawaii. You went to Hawaii.
Did I go to Hawaii this year? I did.
Yeah.
I did Hawaii and Japan.
Yeah.
God, this is why
and you spent some money. You did a good job of spending some of the money because you were making it and you were happy. I feel like you only spend more money when you feel good versus you don't seem like when you're stressed you would ever spend that money.
Yeah, but I'm trying to change that. And honestly, since I met you, I think I've changed. Like I went to Hawaii when I wasn't even making that much money because I was like, dude, I'm only going to be like pretty soon. If I go to Hawaii, I'm going to be like, oh, my back hurts and I can't hike. Like that's going to happen to me. Yeah. Oh, my knee hurts. I can't do this swim, you know? So I'm like, dude, you're right. Like you just got to go when you want to go. Now, I'm not saying go to Hawaii every month and blow all your money, but I do think that like since meeting you, I've like relaxed a little bit and been like, I'm allowed to fucking have fun. Because
I'm glad I've made you spend more money, you know? Because hopefully that made you make more money too.
Yeah, I think when I'm in a better mood too, like things happen and hey, manifest. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Manifest.
Never thought I'd say that in my life, but yeah. What about me? I don't know if you're gonna do it, but how did you do this year?
I did better than I expected, especially with both of us SAG and the writers, the guild strike
for like 5 months.
Yeah, what the hell? I feel like it made me kind of stressed at the beginning. We were both so stressed by May.
I forgot. That's why we did that episode in May. That was our worst month.
Yeah, we made like zero money.
I think I made like $200 that month. And I think that was just like you Venmo me $100 because we went to eat or something. Like, yeah, that was a bad month.
That was so bad.
And that's because that's when the strike started. That makes so much sense. Oh my God. That
I
was
also
really
think our Cash Cuties episodes kind of changed since then. Like I remember thinking we were so dedicated in a way that was like we were analytical about the things we would do and say.
Yes.
And then we started like you could see like all the after that we started being a bit more like, hey, let's treat it more fun. Let's treat it like something we enjoy again.
Yes.
And things changed from then.
That's what's kind of nice about podcasts is it is a reflection of your mood that month. And I think on the months we're just like doing a PowerPoint every month, things are not going good. Okay?
We were like, let's just KMS. Yeah, like let's all just KMS. We'll do it together.
Yeah.
And at some point things just changed. It wasn't even like the end of the strike, but it was like the sun also came out.
The sun came out.
The sun will come out, and it did. And I don't know how much. I don't know exactly because I just got Monarch yesterday night and.
Yeah. Yesterday night, the proper English. Go ahead.
Yesterday night, you guys, me changing the analysis so that every line that we do of like, what is it called? When I'm changing like the transactions into like the right transaction. It took me out, guys. It took me out so bad today. I didn't wake up till like noon, and Fumi had to knock on the door for me to wake up. This is the first time this has ever happened. It was because there was so much money on my mind.
I'll show you how to do it easier because you can search for a vendor and then change them all at once, so you don't have to go one by one. Going one by one is psychotic.
Because this income is not correct. Because it sounds like I made so much money.
For example,
this
you can
year.
search for check, and it'll give you all the checks, and you can. You know what I mean? Like and you can search for Ralph's and you can change all of Ralph's to groceries. Like you don't have to do line by line. That's insane and that'll take you forever.
Oh, that's what I did.
You did search by category.
Individually.
Yeah, no, don't do that. That's stupid and crazy. I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you how to do it.
I was going crazy. Okay. My biggest job was a commercial job that I did, and it's money it was giving me residuals.
Yeah.
It was a SAG type of job.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I did well on that, and that's what kind of is keeping me up. I did a hosting gig for Amazon and Amazon Prime for 88 Rising.
Yeah.
That one was
okay?
Because it was a big company that paid me. So that was a really good check that came in.
Yeah.
So again, I would like to do that one. Paid me really well, so
Good.
I would like to do more hosting gigs. 'Cause I didn't realize there's so much. Did you know there's money in hosting? I was like, what? This is why people are host. But I also just enjoy doing it. It was a lot of fun. I have to say both these jobs were a lot of fun, and I got paid really well. But I'm also. Let's talk about the shittiest job you did.
The weirdest things we did for money. Is what you're talking about?
Yeah. Basically, a fan asked me after a show if I was willing to just have conversations with them. They wanted to ask me questions, but they're willing to pay me. So I said, sure, why not?
Okay.
So, because like I essentially do that on Patreon, right? It's like we're getting paid to, but it felt like, like the Japanese friends that
We do not do that on Patreon. What are you talking about?
like, or is it Cameo? What is the one? It's like where you have conversations.
Yeah, but Cameo is like you make a video and you send it, right? This is like he wanted to one-on-one live Zoom with you.
He wanted to talk on the, he wanted to talk.
When you first approached it, were you like, this is weird? Or were you just like...
Yeah, because I've never done that. So I asked my friends about it, and some of my friends had done this. So I was like, oh.
Is there a name for this? This kind of thing?
I don't know what it is.
I guess it's just sort of like...
It's like being it's a parasocial
monetized
friendship.
parasocial
it's like
thing.
You know what it is? It's like a live Facebook live or Instagram live, but with a person.
Yeah, I know what Zoom is, dude. You're literally... I know what Zoom is. I've lived through the pandemic.
So when I first talked to them, they wanted to charge a certain amount there, because I was like, how do I monetize this? Or what made sense to him and for me?
And what did he propose?
He initially proposed $50, and
for how long?
For 30 minutes, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I was like, I don't want that money.
Yeah.
Plus, talk to a random person. I have no idea if they're like a psychotic person.
Right.
But he seemed pretty normal based on my initial interaction with him. And he's like, okay, 100. And I just wanted to make sure that it was like, we're only talking about whatever. If he wanted to interview me, I'm down to do an interview. I said $100, and that's it. I was like, I'm not going to do it for less. So he paid me $100 for 30 minutes to talk. And I, laid it out. I said, you could only talk to me about like fun, interesting things about.
But don't get creepy.
Don't get creepy. I don't want creepy shit.
Yeah.
And it was all clear. And I asked him, I was like, why did you want to do this? Right. And he said, he basically he said he doesn't have a lot of close friends. And he wants to be able to be friends with cool people. He wants to know about what life is like in LA. He wants to know what it's
he's
like.
Not from LA.
He's not from LA.
Okay.
And so he just wanted an in with like cool people, essentially. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool.
So who else does he do this? Who else does he do this with?
Apparently he does this with a lot of people that he
pays
meets.
them to Zoom.
He pays them to Zoom. I don't know if Zoom is the specifically, but it's whatever it is. He does either phone calls or he does
this is really interesting. I mean, like, are you going to do it again, or is he out of money?
So I did it twice. So I got paid $200 for an hour. And it wasn't bad. It was like literally he was extremely smart person. And,
how did it start off?
It just started off with him asking about my life. He was just like, what are you up to? But what I did instead was I just asked him about his life, because I was curious about who does this. Yeah. And he said that because he's been doing this the last few years, especially during the pandemic, it's like, what is it? Parasocial relationships. It's just having friends in different countries that he finds enjoyable to talk to. So he's been doing this, and I'm like, I could see this becoming a normal thing, and I think people do this. And
to pay?
Yeah, because I think it's like having a connection with somebody.
But I guess the thing is, he has to pay, because if he didn't pay, it's kind of like him being like, hey, do you want to get coffee sometime? Even if it was platonic, if you didn't know him, you'd be like, no. But if he says for $100, you would. Right?
Yeah, I would never. That's the thing. He was like, this person, he was essentially saying because he's not part of the community, there's no way I would have like hung out with him anyways.
Right. Unless there was money involved.
Unless there was something involved, whether it's trade, because that's typically what you're saying about coffee is like, if they're like typically we're meeting because what's the goals? It's like, you want to be friends, you want to do a work thing, maybe it's a collaboration on something. For him, he's not connected to our world. Right. So he like has no reason to like be in our group unless also he lived here and he's like trading something, and I was like, oh, sure, why not?
I guess when you say it that way, I guess money's not that weird, because Yeah, I mean, I guess if like somebody, like sometimes like younger comedians be like, hey, can I grab coffee with you because I want to talk to you or whatever. I'm always like, I'm happy to help because I used to ask people to do that when I was younger.
It's like well, that would be like consulting work.
Sure, but it's like I'm just helping out a younger comedian, but we're both comedians.
Yeah.
But if some random person was like, hey, can we just hang out and get coffee? I'd be like, are you a comedian or like a writer or something? They'd be like, no. They're like, I just want to get to know you. I'd be like, fuck no.
Right. There's no reason. There's no reason for you to take that.
Not really.
But
yeah.
if someone said, hey, I'll give you $200 for that, you'd be like, okay.
And I would be nice about it.
You'd be nice because there's still a trade.
I would actually be extra attentive because they paid me. This is actually not as weird as I thought it was going to be.
I honestly feel like I was an unofficial therapist to him.
Yes.
That's what it felt like because we're just talking about life. We're talking about, you know what I mean? Like I was asking him about like why he's doing this, what kind of life he lives. And then it was more like I ended up talking to him about his stuff, although he wanted more to know. So the second call was more about my life, but essentially I think when...
Who's got the timer going? Is there a timer?
No, I gave him another 30 minutes, essentially, total. So because I had fun talking.
You did an hour for $100.
Yeah, basically, because it was fun.
Yeah.
I liked talking to...
Yeah.
But I could talk to anyone.
Sure.
And this is... I was like, is this... Why isn't there this thing? What is this? It's like, so in Japan, this is what I was talking about. It's like you could pay a friend to hang out with you, right? That guy, he's like making millions of dollars doing this, I think.
Is this like is it just that guy only, or this is like a service?
He meets them in person. He meets the people in person, and he's like a filler. Like if a guy wants to go play golf but doesn't have like a companion, he'll go play with them. Or if he wants to go play at an arcade and he wants a companion, or if a girl wants to have a date for a wedding but she doesn't have a date, you pay the companion per hour, and they're just there to be a good companion. So why they don't have that here? Because you know what, the creeps in America see it maybe into like a creepy thing that I don't want to do anything like that.
Sure, but I think you guys hold the power because the second it gets creepy, you're done. So
I'm not going to ever do that again.
I'm doing this because I trust you.
Yeah.
But because you whipped out your dick, I'm not going to do this anymore. And that's okay, because I think there are a lot of people who are willing to do this and willing to just respect your boundaries.
Exactly. There has to be a boundary, or I won't ever talk to them again. Right. And so I see this as like some sort of safe way of meeting friends or having some sort of... It's like a connection with someone that you're willing to with somebody who more likely might not be in your crowd.
Now let me ask you something, and I'm not judging. But did you feel dirty afterwards or no?
No, I actually felt like I did something nice.
So guys...
I didn't feel... Because there was no weird thing with it. It was mostly... I felt like there's a chance that maybe I gave them... Of course I would think I gave them good advice, life advice. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, my life advice is so important and so, you know, like I've lived a longer life than this person potentially. And I've gone through so many experiences, and it's like a wisdom of an older woman.
Yeah. Was this person younger than you?
Actually, I don't know. They might have been my age. I actually think that maybe like a couple years.
I feel like, at least in the YouTube comments, there was one guy who commented last week. They're like, Steffie does not read the comments. It is Fumi. And I'm like, hey,
why did he say that?
I don't know, but hey, but if that guy wants Steffie to read them and respond, you gotta hit her up on DMs.
If you want me to answer,
private session. A private session.
A private session.
A private session.
Because you would do this. We would do this together. Like if someone was like, "Hey, for $100."
If you want to hang out with us, you have to pay us a little bit of money or send us a coffee or something. But we do it.
But it's similar to a Cameo or Patreon, but it's live.
Yeah, we could do a group thing. We could do one-on-one, like 2-on-1 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, happy to. That could be fun. If you want to hang out with us,
would you do a set? If $1,000.
For $1,000, I would do anything. You could be like, I want you to shit in a cup and eat it. I would fucking do it.
Ew.
I would do it. I would do it.
You're so Japanese. That's so something. I feel like you'd be like, a couple in the... Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Do an accent. That's okay. It's not racist.
But I feel, yes, this is... I don't understand why this isn't more of a thing without it being like a creepy thing.
Let me ask you this. Let me flip it on its head. Who would you pay to spend an hour with on Zoom in like a non-creepy way?
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, like celebrities.
Or it's Christopher Walken.
Just an hour on Zoom.
Just like
honestly, I would do that, and it honestly would.
Who would you choose?
Why Steve? Why'd you say Steve Buscemi?
Because I just love him. He's so
an interesting
cool.
Guy.
He's just an I feel like he and I. there's even if what he said might not be interesting, I know he would say it interestingly, that I would want to be around his presence. There's some people with that charisma that you're just like, oh, that's a weird, like, I just want to get to
Riz.
yeah, maybe a little Riz. I would also do that with like Lucille Ball if she was
I don't
alive.
know who that is.
I Love Lucy.
Oh, that's her name?
That's Lucille Ball. If she was alive, that's the person I would talk to. Or
I would do it with I would love to spend an hour with like Jack Black.
Dude, I ran into him.
Oh, somebody else
With
ran
my
into him
friend.
in Silver Lake.
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
Oh, I must have already said
Oh,
this.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
already.
Well, he lives around there.
Drip. Oh, okay. He was so nice and exactly what you would
You
think.
talked to him?
Yeah, because I was with my friend who did a movie with them.
Oh, I see.
And so when they were talking, he was buying flowers for his wife, which was like, come on,
dude, Jack Black has not had like any issues, and his career's been so long, and I've known him since like the Tenacious D days. And
you know him?
No, I've just like known his work for so long when he had his show.
He's
on
a good
HBO.
guy.
Yeah, he just seems like a fun guy to talk
Or so
to.
seems to.
Yeah, Jack Black. Maybe like, Shaq. I want to talk to Shaq. He seems fun.
Who else seems really fun? I feel like I would love to talk to Posh Spice. She seems like weird, and she would give you a lot of advice. Even she'd give you unsolicited advice.
This is a genius revenue stream for has-been celebrities, because I would love to talk to like the Starting Line. You know who they are?
No.
The Starting Line was like an emo band that had a one-hit wonder.
Oh, wait, hold on. By the way, I do not like how you segged into that as if Posh is now a has-been.
She's a has-been.
No, she's not.
She's David Beckham's wife, right?
Has-been. That's your husband, dude.
You're fucking like 7-year-old white man on the inside. It's so weird, your sense of humor. She's a has-been to David Beckham.
I told Fumi was next to me. I said Fumimasen.
Oh yeah.
Like,
for the three people who
excuse me,
speak Japanese who
I know,
get that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's the same thing with husband.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Husbando.
She is still. Did you not watch that documentary about her?
No. What's her thing now? She has like a brand that nobody gives a fuck about.
Clothing brand.
Yeah, but nobody gives a fuck about that
She's
one.
iconic. She dresses fucking awesome. She has a husband who's Beckham. And you know what? I resent that you think that's her wife. To me, Posh Spice's husband is David Beckham. 'Cause I don't watch sports. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
But you can objectively, you cannot say that David Beckham is less famous than Posh Spice.
They're equal. They're equivalent.
They are
They
not.
have grown together into a space where they're together similarly famous.
Yeah. People you name, Steve Buscemi, all these guys, they've lived these like interesting lives. I just want to hear about it. I would love to talk to Beyonce. I want to talk to Beyonce because I saw her in 2008 in Japan. I went to a music festival.
So sick.
And she did the funniest fucking thing. My sister and I went to go see Beyonce at a music festival. It's like the Lollapalooza of Japan. There's all kinds of artists. And I never forget, I used to have a joke about this. She comes out to the stage and she goes, "What up, Tokyo? Make some noise if you're like I think she said like, she's like, I want all the naughty fellas to make some noise or something." And then nobody made any noise because we didn't know what.
Yeah.
They don't speak English, so they're like, I don't know what a naughty fella is. So it was
yeah.
like silent. And my sister and I were dying laughing because she's like bombing, right? And then she kept trying different like phrases, like, "With my single lady," but she's like, they didn't understand what a single lady was or whatever. And then she just moves on to her song. But I've always wanted to ask her about that moment because I was like, how does it feel to be a mega star and try to pump up the crowd and you're just bombing in front of thousands of people in Japan because they have no idea what the fuck you're saying?
It must be awkward because you've bombed. People probably
I
have to.
know,
And does
but
that
it's
feel
so
bad?
funny to
But you
be
know
Beyonce.
why? To be.
And it's a
Beyonce.
language barrier. It's a language.
But she's
barrier.
been doing it forever. Even before that concert, she probably was used to that.
By that time, that's when Single Ladies was out, so she was already like past Beyonce. Destiny's Child. She was already like.
Were you
peaking.
like me when they said single ladies?
I'm not even allowed. So horny.
I'm a single lady. I'm a single lady. Beyonce would be a great one. I feel like actually, I've seen her interviews. I would rather see.
Well, her whole thing is that she doesn't do interviews because she did one and people thought she was dumb, so she doesn't do it. But this is not an interview. This is a conversation, and you can't tell me You can't tell me she's not an interesting person.
Yo, I would love to do Cardi B. Can you imagine talking to Cardi B?
I would record. That's her fucking comedy hour. She'd be so
she's
funny.
comedy. She's fun. She's sort of lighthearted in a weird way.
Yeah.
She's well-rounded. You know, she came from, you know,
the Bronx.
she's just interested in the Bronx, but also from being a reality TV show star. So I feel like she would talk about money easily for the podcast. She would be open.
That's our dream guest,
That's
Cardi
our
B.
dream.
God, 2024.
Holy
Cardi,
shit!
where you at? Where you at,
Oh
dude?
my-
God damn. It's bad.
See it.
When I'm hungry, I get
Walt
racist.
Disney. What the fuck is this?
Did you go to Disneyland?
Walt Disney? It says $2,400. What? What do you think that is? Walt Disney? Oh no, stocks.
You bought? I don't even want to get into that, bro.
What? Shut up.
You
We shouldn't put that in.
Huh?
Because it's a problematic thing. I forget what they did. Something happened with them.
What, Disney?
Yeah, that's why I bought
They've
it.
been problematic for years.
They've all from the start. Did you know that women animators back when they first started were not allowed to have any sort of creative ideas? So all they would do when they're, you know, the animators, they'd make women they're only allowed to be the sketchers of things that people have already men have created.
Whoa.
So they could only draw without conceptualizing anything. They could only shade things.
Why? Was it
because
a women
they're
thing?
sexist. It's a woman. No.
Was it a women thing, or was it just like women can only have these jobs that don't require creativity? Is that the same thing?
That's the same
I
shit.
guess what
They
I'm
weren't
saying is
allowed. I literally.
I mean, that's like a rule. They weren't allowed, or they just
women
didn't
are not.
do that.
No, they're not allowed.
Wow.
They weren't allowed to.
How long did you have that rule?
I don't know, but since like fucking when they were making
So
Cinderella.
you learned about that, and you're like, let me buy $2,000 worth of stock in Walt Disney. I love. By the way, Steffie, I love that the most expensive thing you bought this year was individual stocks to Walt Disney. That is so you. Okay, so in conclusion, buy Disney stock. Schedule a one-on-one session with us if you want to hang out with us over Zoom.
Yeah,
And
individual. Come
and then
on,
2024
guys.
is gonna be our year. Okay, we're gonna make a lot of money. We're gonna be in movies. We're gonna be touring, and you guys are gonna be there to support us.
And we're going to have a. Come on, let's do a live show.
Yeah,
I know
we're
gonna do. We're gonna do a live
I had
show.
an idea come up to me when I was driving, so I'll share it with you after.
Okay.
But we want to do like a live podcast show. We don't know. It might be a game show. It might be this kind of
Because
thing.
just like you said, live shows
show.
is where the money is at.
It really is.
I think that we have good live I know I have good live comedic shit. Like, I'm not a comedian, but people are already coming up and calling me comedian just because of you guys. And this is why it's important who you hang out with.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to
somehow-
grind over 10 years. You can just be hanging out with one.
I've somehow finessed comedian as a title.
We're gonna do a live show. So if you're in LA, we're gonna do one here first, obviously, and then if it's a hit, we might go to like other parts of LA or San Francisco and stuff like that. But look out for that. If you have any ideas for that, by the way, DM us. And it's gonna be a great year. Hope you guys.
us.
I hope you have
guys
an amazing Christmas. I hope you have an amazing New Year's, whatever it is that you celebrate.
have a fun time this beautiful
holiday
winter
break.
Go have fun. Spend a little bit of money.
Spend a little bit of money. Go
Invest
crazy.
some of
It's
that
the end
money.
of the year. Invest.
It's the
Go
end of the
crazy.
year. I think we had a fun year, man.
It's been about a year since we started this podcast. So, cuties, we really appreciate you.
Say something nice about me.
You have a nice hat.
God.
Was that good?
I love how you hold your microphone.
But you wanted something like inside. You wanted me to say something good about inside.
I can't believe you called it inside. About my personality?
Yeah, like what's on the inside?
Oh my God, you're so checked out.
You want the inside.
You called my inside. You called me telling me something nice about me, my insides. You had to make it a
like biology vibes. Anatomy vibes.
You're like my internal organs.
Yeah, I have your GI now.
Yeah,
look inside your asshole.
Do you like my asshole?
That's what GIs do.
You're being so weird right now.
I'm
It's
not
insane.
being
You
weird.
guys, Cash Cuties, look at this.
Anyways, thank you to our producers. Thank you to our sound engineer, Doma Goy. Thank you to our video clip
Something
guy.
I learned that's nice about you.
Oh, this year?
Yeah, is that I feel that you are pretty there for me, like supportive when I ask something. I ask for information, you will give me information. You're not like hoarding information, which I think is a genuinely something that not a lot of people in this industry easily do. And I like to share as much as I can, but I think you've been very open and I appreciate that.
Oh, that's really sweet. I think that through this year I discovered that I think when I first met you, I thought you were like some weird LA influencer girly, but I think and I think that like you still like give off that vibe on purpose because you need to get certain things, and I totally understand. But on the inside, you're not that at all. And I think if we met in college, you would have actually been friends.
Aww.
And that's what I'm realizing this year. That on the inside, you're not like you do what you gotta do to eat. You know what I'm saying? You do what you gotta do to put food on the table, and I respect that. But
So
but
weird.
on the inside, you're not that, and you show me a lot of that, and it's really nice to see. You know.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I resent that you had to give me a negative criticism at the top.
It's
that
not a criticism.
What do you mean? I get what?
What do you mean? It's not a criticism because I need
You said
that.
I get. What am I getting though? Is my question.
I get what?
You're like, I get that you have to do what you have to get.
I said you do what you gotta do to put food on the table.
Yeah, you make it sound like I'm like
Like a stripper or something?
Like yeah, like at nighttime I go out
but
and
inside
I'm like,
you're not a whore, and I have
yeah, like what are you talking about?
No. I just think that like, you know what I mean.
No, that part I don't, and I would love to get into it, and I am still here, and he's hangry right
Guys,
now.
I'm hangry right now, but we're gonna get into it on our bonus episode. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/CashCutiesPod. We're gonna release all the little dirty secrets on there. So, anyways,
If I had any.
thank you everybody who's helped us out this year. All the producers,
Thank you.
Domagoy, Matthias, Holly,
Domagoy.
it really helps. There's some people who emailed us about wanting to produce, so I'll get back to you soon. I'm just hungry and busy and horny, so I haven't looked at the emails. But
Ew.
I think that's it, man. I think that's it.
All
So
right.
actually, Cash Cuties, we'll see you next week. But this week, please go crazy with your money. It's the end of the year. Go crazy.
Go crazy. Don't. I'm gonna give you a limit though. Don't go over $1,000.
Go crazy, but within $1,000.
Within $1,000.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Fine. Wait, did you say where you're from? I'm Steffie Baik. You could go check me out on Baked Goods, BAIKEDGUDS. Check out my movie if you want, called The Portrait, on Amazon and Apple TV.
Yes. Please follow me on all the socials at the Fumi Abe. That's TheFumiAbe. I'm also going on tour and stuff, so go to FumiAbe.com for tickets. Irvine, California, Texas, Washington D.C., and San Francisco. I'm coming to you soon.
Okay, Venmo me at Steffie is me.
Venmo me at the Fumi Abe. Haven't gotten one of those in a while, but
Haven't what?
haven't gotten Venmo in a minute. But hey, it's Christmas time.
I have, but I feel like I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about
Hey,
it.
you keep that shit to yourself, man.
I know. See this.
You keep that shit to yourself.
Okay.
You do what you got to do to get back.
Okay. All right. We love you, all the people that are out there. I see you. I just can't talk about it, apparently. But I do message you guys, and I love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.